So, Priyam, the situation is that these days government of India is making lot many expressways and other infrastructural projects. And while making such project successful, you need to acquire lot many of
So,
lands.
so your voice is disconnected.
You need to acquire lands in order to.
Hello.
So am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing is that the government is making lot many of expressways, and to in order to make those expressways or other infrastructural projects, you have to acquire or you have to acquire the lands from the farmers, you know,
Okay.
to build expressways. So there is a situation there. Let's say if there is a land which is being acquired by a farmer who himself doesn't cultivate or irrigate the land, है ना, उनका अपना ये नहीं है, agricultural वो नहीं है, but on that land there are 100 or more than 100 families are being employed as a agricultural laborer. So what government is doing, what government is paying compensation to the people, uh, com- compensation to the person who owns the land, you know, and all those people who doesn't have any legal right now to claim for those land and getting any part of the compensation which government is providing. Okay, so as a policy maker, uh, do you see that this is a problem, you know, and if you see this as a problem, how would you rectify or improvise your policy of land acquisition in order to bring justice to those people who has been working for their livelihood at that area or that land?
So, according to me, this is the problem of tenant farmers. Uh, so, to rectify it, as a policy maker, I will recommend uh, for the legalization of uh, tenant farming, basically. So, by legalizing it, the tenant farmers which do not own the land, but they are working on it, they will get recognition by the law. So they have the empowerment of the law, and in case some wrongdoing will happen with them, they can approach the court. So basically it requires a legislation, and in that legislation there should be some guidelines to rehabilitate these tenant farmers as well. So, for example, state can provide them with uh, school education and hospitalization, like hospital expenditures and rations, and some sort of skilling as well, or some sort of employment as well. So I will rectify this problem in
Okay.
this way.
So what do you see? What future do you see, or what importance that you see uh, about this public policy profession in India?
So like it is very important for a country like India, because uh, India is a very diverse country, and majority of people in India are like are not very materially well. So we have social divisions, uh, and we have economic divisions as well. So and for the magnitude of a country like India is, we have to have some policy directions to direct our country. So yeah, it has a like great prospects for India, and it is required in India as well. It is a very important. It can play a very important role. Like for example, if we have to negotiate a deal in WTO, then in that case we should have some sort of professional public policy uh, makers, or like professionals who can negotiate very well. And in this regard, India is lagging in comparison to other developing countries like China or like Brazil. So yeah, this course is important in case of India.
Okay, so Priyam, like we create policy for a long-term duration. Like we had created the old education policy like 10 years ago, and we have also created the new education policy, which will be implemented in next 5 to 10 years, and then it will continue for next 5 years, no, next 10 years ahead. So a lot of the policy that we create, it goes for 10 to 15 to 20 years. So isn't there will be a time where all the policies will be created, and how all these public policy professionals will get a job or get relevance in the system?
So because societies uh, are not a constant thing. Societies change, their realities change, their necessities also change. So, like policy do have to adjust with the societal realities. And in a globalized world like we are living in, where everything is changing so fast. Uh, so, like policy professional do have very great relevance during these times. And like policy professionals can play a role of like evaluating the uh, existing policies. Like for example, in 1991 we had LPG reforms. So we had done first generation reforms, but we are proceeding with second generation reforms. So like uh, con- policy has to constantly change also according to the performance on the ground. So in that case, like in that scenario, the importance of policy professionals comes.
Okay. So do you know any particular area or any particular issue or problem that we face in our society or in our economy, for which the government of India or the government still have not come up with any policy, or where you would like us to suggest कि we need a policy for this particular situation or issues very urgently?
Hmm. Very urgently.
No, no, not very urgently, but I mean, it is a need of the hour, but we haven't done before. So we haven't created any policy related to this, but we must create or implement a policy in order to solve that issue or rectify the problem.
Sir, I guess we need some proper policy regarding the regulation of cyberspace. We don't
Cyberspace.
have, yeah, we don't have, like we have IT rules guiding the crimes, or like cyber crimes, but we do not have proper cyber policy. And basically we are entering into industry 4.0, and like without having any proper cyber policy, it will affect us, because with the greater spread of internet in the remote areas, the possibilities of uh, like privacy theft and other crimes will going to increase in the future. So we need a proper articulated cyber policy.
Okay. So are you aware with the recent changes in e-commerce based business? The government has
Yeah.
recently changes the policies for e-commerce business. What are the changes that they have, or what are the new things that they have introduced?
So I haven't completely read about e-commerce policy, but the news which which is coming now, which I have read is related to something stockholding, that uh, the promoters of company cannot be the stockholders, or be the distributors as well. So because there is a conflict of interest. So like for example, if Flipkart is a platform, then it cannot have warehouses and its own company to uh, acquire the materials or like retail items and sell it to the consumers. So I guess company, I don't exactly remember the name of this model, but this was in the news in recent past.
Okay. So if I'll ask you, have you ever studied any policy in a well detailed manner, or like in detail? So which policy it would be?
So National Education Policy
New education,
2020, yeah.
new education policy.
So sorry, New Education Policy 2020.
You have read it in.
Uh, no, not in detail, but yeah, I have read about it.
Okay. So if I'll ask you, give me five differences between new and the older policy. What would be?
So in new policy, there is a total rehaul of the course, like structure and the curriculum, uh, which the older policy followed. Like the previous policy followed 10 plus 2 model, but this policy follows 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 model. So this is the first major change. The second change is the focus on pre-primary and early childhood education, and I guess this is a very welcome change because it is based on very scientific studies, because scientists say that 85% of the cognitive abilities of any child develops in the early childhood. So so like for the first 5 years, the first five, uh, there will be the focus on like play based learning, very practical type of learning. So this is the second change. The third change is focus on the third one is the on the flexibility of the courses. Like previously, students have to uh, choose one subject or another. There is a choice between the two, fields, but now uh, a student can choose a humanity subject and science subjects as well in higher secondary schools. So like it is a very welcome change. And the fourth one is the focus on vocational training. Now the government is as uh, it is a reality that in India vocational training is very less. Like in Germany, it is 75%. In countries like North, like South Korea, it's 90 some percent. But in case of India, the vocational training is just 5%. So uh, this policy addresses this problem. So this is the fourth one. The fifth one is the overhaul of the mm, accreditation system. Uh, now, like previously, there was a centralization and conflict of interest between uh, like centralization of power in the hands of UGC, which uh, regulated the uh, educational sector and as well as uh, gave the accreditation as well. But now there is a decentralization of the institution, so there will be the less conflict of interest. So these are the five things which makes new education policy different from the previous one.
Okay, so given a chance, in what sector or in what area I would like to work as a public policy professional? So what are the preferable areas of
So
interest?
it's a tough question because like I would like to uh, first go through the field experience and to see by myself the ground realities, and on the basis of that I would make
Like
my mind.
you have your background is quite
BTech, sir.
BTech, but you
Yeah,
are also prepared for UPSC, so you
yeah,
must have explored other fields also.
yeah.
So don't you find any particular field which you find it is interesting to work there, or to matlab you understand the field better and you can
So I would
contribute
say,
in
so
policy
I,
making in better way?
so I would say the use of technology like big data technologies in our public service delivery systems like health delivery and education sector, integrating the AI technology, yeah, internet of things technologies with
So it's not about
uh,
any sectoral policy rather than using technology for all the policy. All
yeah,
the,
I guess, yeah, because in future we will have to do it, and this is the necessity. This is not a luxury now. We have
so
to do it.
do you have the sufficient knowledge and background about this?
Artificial intelligence, sir.
Not only artificial intelligence, all the technological aspect that we use in public policy.
No, like I haven't done the courses, so like I have very basic idea like
So
what is
just with
what the
basic idea, how do you say that you can work better for those field?
in this public policy field.
Yeah.
So like what is my eligibility?
No, you don't know about the technological aspect of policy. You don't know about the artificial
So
intelligence in big way. So how do you find yourself? How do you find yourself in a position to go for such role or such kind of as a prospect in public policy profession?
uh, learning is a continuous process. Like during my masters, I have plans to write some research paper, and during uh, like I will learn a lot during my masters as well. So I will apply those learnings during my like in my like in the future as well. So right now I do not have that much of a knowledge. I
So
do have this.
in your DAF, I am seeing that you have also applied for climate change and
Yeah.
environmental studies. So why don't you pick that area for moving in public policy?
So so for me, public policy and governance comes first because it is a like it is for me. It is a very
No, I'm not talking about the preference of the subject.
okay, sir.
I'm asking about while selecting a field where you can go for public policy making, why it is not climate change and environmental studies?
Oh, okay, sir. Like why I'm going for artificial intelligence and not climate change. Hello,
Haha, why?
so your voice is disconnecting.
Same question. That's what I asked you.
So why I will not choose artificial artificial intelligence? So this one.
No, I'm asking.
So your voice is not coming.
Abhi,
So comparatively better.
so the last question would be, why are you not choosing climate change as in your area for public policy?
Okay. Uh, so instantly it came to my mind artificial intelligence because like art uh, it will be helpful in climate change also. Like it's a technology we can use it anywhere. But yeah, it just came to my mind. Nothing else.
ओके, चलो, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir.
तो वही है प्रियम, समहाउ ऐसा हो रहा है कि तुम प्रॉब्ली हो सकता है मेरे साथ ही ऐसा करते हो। यू थिंक अ लॉट व्हाइल स्पीकिंग, एंड आफ्टर थिंकिंग अ लॉट यू इवन कई बार कैसा हो जाता है कि थोड़ा इरेशनल और इलॉजिकल आंसर भी देने लगते हो, which is not the case of your knowledge. मतलब you what you write is very crystal clear, and that is of too much of content, but while speaking you try to make it more better, but it becomes little less than what do you write. तो ऐसा करते हैं कि पहले मैं तुम्हें ये रिकॉर्डिंग दे देता हूँ मैं, ठीक है?
हाँ, sir.
और उसको थोड़ा सा एक बार फिर से तुम खुद